All right, if g equals the integral from 2 to x of f of t dt, this function here is f. If I want to find g of 0, all you do is take g of 0. Basically, you plug 0 for x, so you go here and plug 0 right there. And f of t is this equation, so it's still f of t dt. So to find that, you basically, that means find the area from 2 to 0. Now the problem is, that's backwards. It should be your lowest number to your biggest number, so you should actually change it to this and put a negative in front. And that would be f of t dt. So, from 0 to 2, hopefully you can do that. Not very hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Woohoo! 4. So the answer would be the opposite of 4. This right here is 4, but it's the opposite of that, so it would be negative 4. So at 0, g of 0, if you plug it into this, would be 4, because the area from 0 to 2 is 4, but the opposite would be negative 4. Now, what would be g of 2? Well, that would mean you're taking the integral from 2 to 2 of f of t dt, and when you go to itself on the interval, that simply is 0. If I want g of 8, well, that means I'm going from 2 to 8. Again, you're plugging 8 in for x. And if I want from 2 to 8, you're basically finding the area from this blue line to this blue line now. So I'm going from 2 to 8. And so all you do is find the area of each shape and add it up. This looks like it's going to be 1. This looks like it's going to be, this is 1 for this piece, or negative 1. This one would be negative 2. This one right here is 3. And this piece right here looks like it's going to be 3 divided by 2 is 1/2. 1 and 1/2. So you have 1, you have a negative 1. Does that look right? Negative 2. That's right. So if you add that up, these two are going to cancel, leaving you negative 2. This is 4.5. 4.5 plus negative 2 is negative 2.5. Is that correct? Is that correct? Negative 2.5? Positive 2.5. Maybe positive 2.5? Because you have a positive, negative cancel. That's positive 2.5. Okay. Now, next question. Which is the largest interval for which g is increasing? Well, what you have to realize is g is equal to this. But if increasing means a derivative, so g prime of x, well, when you take the derivative of g prime, means you take the derivative of this. And when you take the derivative of an integral in this form, it's the second fundamental theorem of calculus, so you basically end up with f of x. That's your answer. So, if I want to know where g prime equals 0, so where does g prime of x, where do we want to know where it's increasing means it's greater than 0? Doesn't that basically mean I want to know where f of x is greater than 0? Where is it greater than 0? Well, look at the function. It would be on the intervals 0 to 3 and from 6 to 8. Which of these two is bigger? Well, the one that has more, this has 3. From 0 to 3, this is 2. So this is the bigger interval. How do you find the extremas? Extremas are when the derivative equals 0. And where would that be? What? 3 and, remember we said here, this equals this, so it's where f of x equals 0. These are the same thing. And that would be at x equals 3 and x equals 6 at 3 and 6. Now, what type would each one be? What 3, what is the coordinate? And at 6, what's the coordinate? And what type? Well, for 3, it has positive values to negative values. Positive to negative means it's going increasing to decreasing, which means it's a max, or a relative max. The other one's going from negatives to positives, so negatives to positive means it's a relative min. And how do you find the coordinate, actually? Well, to find the coordinate, you're going to plug 3 into this function up here. Basically, you want to find the area from 2 to 3. the area from 2 to 3. So if I want to find g of 3, that's going to be the integral from 2 to 3 of f of t dt. And the area from 2 to 3 looks like it is 1. So this is going to be 3, 1. And g of 6 is going to be the area from 2 to 6 of f of t dt. And 2 to 6 looks like the area is 1 minus 1 plus a negative 2. That looks like it's going to be negative 2. So 6 negative 2 is your min, relative min, and 3 1 is your relative max. Now let's graph this. If I want to graph g of x, just plot these points. What's g of 0? Well, that is negative 4. So g of 0 is negative 4. Yay! What's g of 2? That's 0. So g of 2 is 0. G of 8 is 2.5. So g of 8 is up 2.5. What's g of 3? Well, 3, 1. There's a coordinate, 3, 1. So over 3, up 1. And 6, negative 2 is another coordinate. Over 6, down 2. Now, could we find more coordinates? Yes, we could just follow this pattern and find all more coordinates. But is this enough coordinates to basically get a trend? Hopefully so. And hopefully you also realize this is supposed to be a max. And that's supposed to be a min. So it looks something like this. Probably straighter because these lines are straight. But it will have this kind of trend to it. That is what it looks like. There's your relative max, relative min according to this information. Make sure you can do this kind of thing.